How can some trees survive for thousands of years? In a world defined by speed and short lifespans, the existence of trees that have lived for thousands of years feels almost unreal. While human civilizations have risen and fallen, some trees have quietly continued growing, season after season, rooted to the same patch of earth. These ancient survivors are not just biological curiosities, they are living archives of climate, time, and resilience. But how is it possible for a tree to outlive empires, languages, and entire ways of life? One of the most famous examples is the bristlecone pine, found in the harsh mountain environments of the Great Basin. Some individual bristlecone pines are over 4,800 years old, making them among the oldest known living organisms on Earth. Their secret is not rapid growth or size, but patience. These trees grow extremely slowly, sometimes adding only a tiny fraction of a millimeter to their width each year. Slow growth, it turns out, is a powerful survival strategy. Harsh environments play a surprisingly important role in longevity. Many long-living trees exist in places that seem almost hostile to life: cold mountains, dry deserts, or rocky slopes with poor soil. These conditions limit competition from other plants, insects, and fungi. With fewer threats, trees like the bristlecone pine can focus their energy on maintenance rather than defense. In such settings, survival favors endurance over speed. Another key factor is wood structure. Trees that live for centuries or millennia often produce extremely dense, resin-rich wood. This makes them resistant to insects, bacteria, and decay. In some species, dead parts of the tree remain standing for hundreds of years without rotting, effectively protecting the living tissue. Unlike animals, trees do not need to replace their entire bodies to survive. As long as a small portion of living tissue continues to function, the organism lives on. Fire, often seen as a destructive force, can also contribute to longevity. Species such as the giant sequoia have evolved thick, fire-resistant bark that protects them from low-intensity wildfires. These fires clear out smaller, competing plants and recycle nutrients into the soil, creating ideal conditions for long-term survival. Rather than fearing fire, these trees depend on it as part of a natural cycle. Trees also benefit from a remarkable ability to compartmentalize damage. When part of a tree is injured by lightning, fire, or disease, it can isolate the affected area instead of allowing the problem to spread. This biological containment system means that injury does not necessarily lead to death. Over centuries, a tree may survive countless partial disasters, each recorded silently in its growth rings. Climate stability is another important piece of the puzzle. Many ancient trees have lived in regions where environmental conditions have remained relatively stable over long periods. Their growth rings act like historical records, preserving evidence of droughts, volcanic eruptions, and temperature shifts. Scientists use these natural archives to reconstruct climate history far beyond the reach of written records. Cultural factors also matter. In some parts of the world, ancient trees survive because humans choose to protect them. Old yew trees in Europe, for example, were often preserved in churchyards and sacred spaces, shielded from logging. These cultural protections allowed certain individuals to survive long after surrounding forests disappeared. The longevity of trees challenges human ideas about life and time. Trees do not rush. They do not migrate. They invest in resilience rather than reproduction alone. Their lives unfold on a timescale that makes human urgency seem almost irrelevant. In an era of rapid environmental change, ancient trees offer more than wonder. They remind us that survival is not always about growth or dominance, but about balance, adaptation, and patience. When we stand beside a tree that has lived for thousands of years, we are not just witnessing a biological achievement, we are standing in the presence of time itself, quietly still alive.